You block a jab, immediately you press, counter hit. Next round, you block a low. You finally think, now it's my turn. You attack, counter hit, again. By the final round, you're convinced your opponent has incredible reactions. It feels like they know exactly when you're going to press, almost like they are reading your mind. But they are not. They are reading your timing. Even every time that you had the idea that it was your turn, you pressed at exactly the moment that they expected. You weren't making decisions, you were following a schedule. And in Tekken, the player who controls the timing usually controls the match. Welcome back to How Winners Think. Most players spend years trying to improve their execution. They learn harder combos, better punishment, more optimal wall routes. But one of the biggest differences between average players and elite competitors has nothing to do with execution. It's timing. Two players can use the exact same move. One gets launched, the other wins the round. The move wasn't different, the timing was. Today we are going to explore why predictable timing makes you predictable as a player. How experienced competitors manipulate rhythm instead of simply attacking, and why slowing down can actually make you feel faster. Because in Tekken, the goal isn't to just choose the right move, it's to choose the right moment. Close your eyes for a second and think about your last ranked match. You probably remember most likely the combos, maybe the launcher that cost you the round, maybe the rage art. But here's what you probably don't remember: the rhythm. Every player develops one without realizing it. Press after blocking, sidestep after heat, backdash after pressure, challenge after a jab, throw after running attacks. These aren't conscious decisions anymore, they are habits, and habits create rhythm. The dangerous part is you stop noticing your own rhythm, but your opponent doesn't. Strong players aren't only watching what you do, they are watching when you do it, because timing is often more predictable than move choice. If you always attack after blocking two moves, I don't need to know whether you're going to jab, hop kick, or crouch jab. I already know when you're going to act, and that's enough. Counter hits tend to frustrate people. It feels unfair. Such questions / thoughts in your mind are like, how did they know I was going to press? But the answer is just usually very simple. It's because you've shown them, not once, repeatedly. Think about how many players attack immediately after they block a safe jab, or even after standing up, or even after defending a heat engager. Those moments become automatic. Experienced players love automatic decisions because automatic decisions are predictable. Imagine a drummer. If they play the same beat over and over, eventually you know exactly when the next note is coming. Tekken works the same way. Predictable rhythm creates predictable timing. Predictable timing then creates counter hits. Counter hits aren't always about incredible reactions. They are often about recognizing patterns. The opponent isn't faster than you, they are earlier than you. Here's something that separates elite players though from everyone else. Sometimes they don't press, not because they are scared, but because they are changing their rhythm. Imagine your opponent expects you to retaliate immediately, but instead, you wait. Half a second, nothing happens. Now your opponent has to think, why didn't they press? That tiny pause creates uncertainty, and uncertainty slows people down. One of the strongest decisions in Tekken is just doing nothing. Not forever though, just long enough to interrupt your opponent's expectations. The best players understand that silence is part of the conversation. Every pause asks a question, every delay changes the rhythm, and rhythm is where control begins. One of the easiest traps in Tekken though is letting your opponent decide the speed of the match. Some players rush just constantly. Some never stop attacking. Some even make you feel like every second matters. So what happens? You then tend to rush too. Without noticing, you're no longer making decisions. You are reacting. The moment you begin reacting though, you've handed them control. Elite players refuse to borrow their opponent's rhythm. Instead, they ask, what pace gives me the best decisions? Sometimes that's aggressiveness. Sometimes it's patience. Sometimes it's one small backdash. Sometimes it's simply just resetting to neutral. They are never in a hurry just because their opponent is. Speed should be your choice and not theirs. Once you recognize rhythm, you can then begin using it. Imagine your opponent always presses after blocking a jab. Great. Don't challenge immediately. Block. Let them press. Now whiff punish. Maybe they always sidestep after heat. Excellent. Delay slightly. Catch the sidestep. Maybe they always backdash after defending. Walk forward. Take space. The goal isn't to attack more. It's to arrive at the moment they are least prepared. Strong players don't force opportunities. They wait for predictable timing, then punish it. That's why their offensive feels effortless. They're not inventing openings. They are just recognizing them. Watch high-level Tekken. Something feels different. The game almost does look slower. There are less panic, less random movement, less unnecessary pressing. Then suddenly one clean launcher. The round explodes. People often make this mistake for incredible reactions. It's usually incredible patience, because patience isn't waiting forever. It's refusing to act before the moment is right. Every unnecessary button creates risk. Every unnecessary movement creates information. The best players don't waste actions. That's why they look efficient. Not because they are faster, because every action has a purpose. They have learned that the fastest route to winning is often waiting just 1 second longer. For your next ranked session, forget about winning. Focus on timing. After every time you press a button, ask yourself one question. Did I choose this timing, or did my opponent choose it for me? If the answer is I pressed because it felt like my turn, watch the replay. Was it actually your turn, or were you just following a habit? You'll be surprised at how often your opponent isn't beating your moves. They are just beating your schedule. Tekken isn't just a battle of moves, it's a battle of moments. Everyone has access to the same buttons. Not everyone chooses the same timing though. That's why two players using the exact same character can feel completely different. One constantly rushes, one waits, one follows rhythm, one controls it. The player who controls the pace controls the conversation. Once you understand that, you'll stop asking, what move should I use? And start asking, why would I use it now? That question changes everything, because the strongest move in Tekken is often the one you didn't rush. If you remember one thing from this video, remember this: don't win the interaction, win the timing. The next time you are in ranked, pay attention to something you have probably ignored for years. Not the move, not the combo, the moment. Ask yourself, am I pressing because I have created the opportunity, or because I always press here? Because predictable timing creates predictable players, and predictable players are the easiest players to beat. This has been how winners think. Until next time, slow down. The right decision tends to arrive when the timing is right, and not when the turn feels like yours. Think first.